Welcome back to the Nightmare Chamber, where the shadows linger a little longer and the darkness whispers your name. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because once you step into these stories, there's no turning back. Tonight's tale is one that hits close to home, literally. It's called The Room You Built. Have you ever laid awake at night, staring at the ceiling, feeling like your house is watching you? That heavy silence where every creak sounds like a footstep. That quiet dread when the air feels thicker in certain corners. This story is about a man who discovered why some houses feel alive. Not because they're haunted by ghosts, but because they're built from us, from the things we bury deep inside. Grab your headphones, turn off the lights, and let's begin. Ethan Miller had always been practical, a 32-year-old software engineer from Chicago, tired of city rent and noisy neighbors. When he found the listing for the old Victorian house on Briarwood Lane in a quiet suburb outside Seattle, it seemed like a steal. 3 bedrooms, a big yard, original hardwood floors, all for half the price it should have been. The realtor was vague about why it was so cheap. Previous owners just moved on quickly, she said with a tight smile. Ethan didn't push. He signed the papers, loaded his few boxes, and moved in on a rainy autumn afternoon. The first night was fine. Unpacking, ordering pizza, falling asleep to the sound of rain on the roof. The second night, he noticed the neighbors. They'd wave from their windows or porches as he walked the dog he'd adopted for company, a scruffy mutt named Max. But their waves were stiff. No smiles, no welcome to the neighborhood, just watchful eyes. By the third night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned, the house settling around him with groans and pops. At exactly 3:17 a.m., he sat up, heart pounding for no reason. He potted down the hallway toward the kitchen for water and stopped dead. There, at the end of the hall where there should have been nothing but a blank wall, was a door, narrow, wooden, painted the same faded white as the trim. It hadn't been there before. He knew the layout. He'd studied the blueprints obsessively before buying. No door there, no room. He approached slowly, the floorboards cold under his bare feet. The doorknob was ice cold, like it had been sitting in a freezer. And then, a whisper, soft, almost like wind through cracks. "You forgot something." Ethan froze. It wasn't his imagination. The voice came from behind the door. Faint, genderless, patient. He backed away, heart slamming, and went back to bed. Told himself it was exhaustion, new house stress. In the morning, the door was gone. Just smooth wall. But that night it returned. Same time, same whisper. "You forgot something." Curiosity is a dangerous thing. On the 5th night, Ethan couldn't resist. He gripped the cold knob, turned it, and pushed the door open. Inside was a small, windowless room, bare walls, dusty floor. But carved into those walls, hundreds of names, deep, jagged scratches, old ones faded, new ones fresh. And there, near the bottom, Ethan Miller. He slammed the door shut, barricaded it with a dresser in the hall, and barely slept. The next nights, the room changed. Each time he opened the door, because he did, again and again, unable to stop, it grew. First, a single wooden chair appeared in the center, then a cracked mirror on the wall, then shadows that moved when he wasn't looking, and the memories started. In the mirror, he saw flashes, not his reflection, but moments he'd buried. The fight with his ex-girlfriend years ago, words he regretted screaming. The promotion he sabotaged for a coworker out of jealousy. The call from his dying father he ignored because he was too busy. Guilt, shame, regrets he'd locked away, pretending they didn't exist. The whispers grew louder. "Face it. Remember. This is yours." Ethan tried to ignore it. He painted over the wall in the hallway, but the door bled through the paint by morning. He called contractors, No one saw the door. They thought he was crazy. Neighbors stopped waving altogether. On the 7th night, Ethan awoke to the door creaking open by itself. The hallway beyond it stretched impossibly long, pulsing like veins under skin. Rooms branched off, endless. He ran, Max barking frantically behind him, down that living corridor. He passed doors with names he recognized from the carvings, peeked into one, an old man sitting in a chair, staring at his younger self abandoning his family. Another, a woman rocking back and forth, reliving the accident she caused. Finally, Ethan burst into a larger room. There, in the center, was a bed, and on it, himself, sleeping peacefully as if in his own bedroom upstairs. He reached out to touch it, himself, and the figure opened its eyes, smiled. "Welcome home." Ethan screamed and ran back, slamming doors behind him. When he stumbled into his real hallway, everything looked normal. Morning light filtered through windows. Max whined at his feet. Relief washed over him. It was a nightmare, just a dream. Then he saw the wall. Fresh carvings still dripping paint from yesterday. Room completed. Occupant sealed. The house didn't kill its owners. It kept them, built new spaces from the parts of themselves they denied. The guilt, the lies, the pain they refused to face. And once the room was finished, they became part of it, trapped forever in the space they created. Ethan lives there still, or what's left of him. The house is on the market again, cheap for reasons no one explains. Neighbors wave, but never smile. So, listener, tonight when you walk through your own home, count the doors, check the walls. That quiet moment at night when the silence feels heavier, it's not empty. What we ignore doesn't vanish. It waits, builds, and one day it might build a room just for you. If you feel a cold spot, hear a whisper saying you forgot something, don't open that door, because some horrors aren't ghosts or monsters. They're us, the parts we lock away. Thanks for joining me in the Nightmare Chamber tonight. If this story chilled you, smash that like button. Leave a comment with your own late-night house experiences. I read them all. Subscribe for more darkness every week. Sweet dreams, or whatever waits in yours. You forgot something.